Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Grady Taylor III. Grady Taylor III is an author, motivational speaker, founder, and creator of The Grady Taylor Show, and owner of DJ Grady Baby Radio. Welcome to the show, Grady.
Thank you. It's an honor and a blessing to be here.
You're welcome. It's an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us about you and where you are from?
Well, let me do it like this. Um, Grady, I was born in Grady Hospital. We lived across from Grady Home Housing Projects, and I attended Grady High School. Growing up in Atlanta, I got the name Grady, known for eating people lunches and stuff like that. Just eating everything. Uh, Um, wow, that's I started out. I used to be a stand-up comedian, and I fell in love. I went to a music studio to record a comedy CD to sell CDs after I do my stand-up comedy. And I fell in love with the studio and how the guy was mixing the songs and how he was arranging the music and stuff like that. So I asked him to teach me, and then I ended up working as an engineer there. Then I end up, and I always wanted to have a talk show, so I ended up doing my first talk show podcast. Now this is '03, so I was kind of way ahead of my time at the studio. And I was like, man, I have something. And then I was picked up by 100radio.com, RTKZ, to do voiceovers. I was doing impersonations because that was part of my comedy skit. So fast forward to after, I left RTKZ Radio, I wanted to get my own platform, my own, show. So I ended up creating a Blogspot account, setting up the Blogspot, got with my friend, my co-host G Clark. At the time, it was G Clark, Jonathan Hickman, was that Patrina and my sister Colette, and we all started our podcast over a cell phone. We use I can use the name now because they free conference line. So we was all on a cell phone in the same room using the phone as a podcast, and it was getting major traction and stuff like that. So eventually, the company that we was using to streamline our show, they had sold the company, so we lost a lot of our material. So we had to figure out another way. How can we broadcast and keep our content? So purchase a recorder, start recording over the phone. I ended up moving. I got married and moved from Atlanta to Brunswick, Georgia, and everybody else was still in Atlanta, so we still broadcast over the phone, and we had been doing it for a while. And then everybody started going their different ways and stuff. So G Clark, he stayed with me the longest, stayed with me to this day, and ended up. PCS, my wife was in military, so we had the PCS to San Angelo, Texas. So we moved out there and we continued to do shows. In fact, we picked up Shamika in Brunswick, Georgia, and she moved. She moved to Texas first, San Antonio, Texas, which she's in now. And me and my wife ended up going to Goodfellow Air Force Base in San Angelo, Texas, and we continued the three broadcasting on three different time zones and consistent. Like now, we're still doing it live on DJGradyBaby.com. And we have multiple. I produced 5 shows, like the Tisa Beatty show, The One After Dark. I had Stony Montana and the Kisser. We just produced a lot of. I've created a lot of platforms for a lot of people to have content on the platform of DJ Grady Baby, and it's so blessed. And now we are on the brink of. I'm about to break some news. I was going to break it on my station, but now we're going to be able to be syndicated. The Grady Taylor Show. We're going to be syndicated with another station, and we're going to be competing with competing with the likes of Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley. It's going to be syndicated. So I am so happy and so grateful for my team. Also, a producer, co-host with the Wanda D Hollis show too as well. Shout out to Wanda D Hollis, my partner and marketing partner. Man, God he has lined up so much, and the thing that I just love about, and I'm just so happy to have a great team. G Clark, Patrina, Shamika Moore, everybody has just been sticking, hanging with me. Southwest Shouty, we got matter of fact working on something for the Atlanta area for the 2 AT aliens. We just got to put these, because I believe in affirmation, speaking things into existence, because we were right there. With the 2 AT aliens. So definitely we're creating a bunch of platforms for a lot of people. And my first vision was to have comedians to have their own show on the platforms. But, comedians in their time slot, it was kind of hard to get them. But just with the radio station and also working in the record label, it helped me a lot as far as with the engineering, the sound, getting the quality of the sound and being in music, being affiliated with different artists and stuff, and because I do music consulting as well. And it's just that's just a nutshell, just with the radio business side. So yeah, we matter of fact. Oh, let me mention the radio station. We're actually in 38 countries, and we're in 38 countries, and we'll be having. I'm working on developing a new iPhone app because I know I have the Android's already there. So in the process, I had to get the specs to Apple's liking because they have to make the final approval. So hopefully Apple will approve our app, our designs and stuff like that, that we can put it out. And I'm so grateful and honored, and just for God blessing me and my family with the opportunity to be able to share the gift that we have
I
with the
love it.
word.
Congratulations, Grady.
Hmm? I didn't hear you. Say it again. Oh,
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, Inga and Andrea have joined us. They're listening in. Hello,
Oh,
ladies.
hi.
Thank
How
you
y'all
for
doing?
listening in.
Thank
Now,
you.
Grady, tell us more about your do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do principle.
I learned that from Denzel Washington. I watch a lot of celebrities speak at graduations. Denzel, that one particular saying is stuck with me. My mom used to always tell me, because when I wanted to go outside and play after school, and mom like, do your homework so you can go out and play. I'm like, okay. Process to do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do. So when I heard Denzel Washington say that, that triggered me back to my childhood, and so I took that mythology and I add that to everything that I do. I got to study this software. I got to study. I got to research. I have to study the guests who I'm going to interview. You know, because I wanna have a great show. So I did what I have to do in order for this to be a great show. So a lot of times you have to sacrifice, and I learned that. I'm gonna let you know I'm a video game head, and a lot of times, video games can be distracting. And I'm gonna say, I'm cold turkey. I haven't played my video game in 4 months now. So, but I had to sacrifice that in order to make this dream happen with the radio station to get these shows I'm producing and being on these different platforms and stuff. So, I'm doing what I have to do. So I'm sacrificing the game so I can do what I want to do, which is radio. You know, what I want to do is play video games, but what I got to do is do the radio. I'm sorry, I said it. I'm so nervous being on this global platform. But I have great mentors. One of my mentors, Victor Chapman. We always pep talk each other. Because you have to surround yourself with people. And one thing that I learned that I have to do is surround myself with great leaders and motivational people. And we motivate each other and inspire each other. But that do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do. One thing that you always got to do, and I hope people adapt that into your mythology, into your process, and put that on your list of things to do. Do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do. What you got to do is surround yourself that people, like Will Smith said, fan your flame. You know, because you want people to breathe that air into your flame, because flame can't go without oxygen. You know, and that's what you need.
I love it. Now, tell us more about your company, Taylor Insurgents Group LLC.
Taylor Insurgents Group. We are a veteran-owned business minority. My wife is the CEO. I'm the COO. We procure government contracts. We do supplies, services, and good for schools. Uh, was that schools and food for prisons, and also ammunition and stuff like that for law enforcement. We procure those contracts and bid on them. And first we bid and procure the contract, and we also we look for homes for vets. And this is our actually first year in business. We started in what was that, February the 16th of this year. So it's a new company, and we're growing, and we're definitely going to add some new divisions onto the Taylor Surgeons Group. Actually, we're going to start doing our media. We just purchased a media channel, so hopefully we could create a platform where we can advertise for small businesses, realtor companies, and to just show people how to be a philanthropist and give back to the community, be a service. There's nothing wrong with being a service, and showing and teaching people through um, the media platform that you have.
Absolutely amazing. I love it. Now, our fellow leader from World Woman Conference and Awards, Amber Lyon, says, congratulations,
Oh,
Grady Taylor, for sharing your story and your amazing business. Thank you
thank
for
you.
listening in.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you. Yes. So yeah, we are, like I said, we're a growing company, and it's something new. And this one thing I have learned through this pandemic. It's just a redirection. It's been bittersweet for me because I lost my mother in February. But everything, well, my mom just said, "Don't stop." Before she passed, she always said, "Don't, baby, don't stop. Just keep going. I'm proud of you." And that right there, it stayed with me. Just hearing my mom say, "I'm proud of you." So I'm doing this in honor of her. Starting these new businesses. And can I backtrack a little bit?
Of course.
I want
Go
to
right.
go back to back in '07. I think right when I think this was before I started the Grady Taylor show. I think no, that's no, well, yeah, the Grady Taylor, the new show. My adopted father, Grady Taylor Jr., he died, and I was like, man, he raised me, and taught me a lot of things. And I was like, when he passed, it really hurt that bad, because he was all I knew, because he gave me the tools that I have. And I was like, man, I want the world to know his name, Grady Taylor. So that's when I started doing the comedy, getting my name out, Grady Taylor, Grady Taylor. And then people like, man, don't you call yourself DJ Grady Baby? Because I played around with music. I always had music and stuff. So DJ Grady Baby stuck. Shout out to DJ Scissor. He gave me that name. He did me with that name. So, and I just went on, with the Grady Baby mantra to keep going in honor of him. So then I created the Taylor Insurgents group and these new platforms in honor of my mother. So it's all about creating multiple income for your family, streams of income for your family, and just keep the name. I'm doing it for them, and that's my motivation.
That is very inspiring and uplifting. Thank you for sharing that with us, Grady.
Thank you.
Now, Lakeisha James says, hi, Regeline and Grady. Thank
Hey,
you, Lakeisha. Thank you for listening in. And Inga says to you, Grady, wish you success, Grady Taylor.
thank you,
I love it.
thank you.
Yes. Now, Grady, tell us
Yes.
more about your book, Waking Up Winning, Volume 2.
Without I co-wrote a chapter in the book, and it talks about the story. My microphone came out, headset came out.
Not
All
a
right.
problem.
It talks a little bit about the story I just shared about the beginnings of well, from my injury, my losing my vision. So I started talking about that. Don't let your disabilities affect your possibilities, and it just talked about being motivated. Self motivation. Don't look for nobody to help you. You have to do it yourself. Um, and then just talk about in the beginning of the show how we became on the different things that we did. And the first time, and I left this off in the beginning of the when you asked me about the radio station. The first time I launched a official radio station, we within that first 30 days of registering the station, we had 34 million listeners, and it blew me away. I didn't even know it till the company had called me. He said, Grady, we never had anybody to rise that fast on there. And TuneIn had picked me up. I didn't know TuneIn had picked up the station. So we're ranked up there with ESPN and what is the other company, CNN. We're like, I'm looking at the chart. I'm like, wow, we right in between those two companies. And only thing I was doing is doing jokes. Me and comedian Juicy, my friend comedian Juicy, we was like cracking jokes and playing music. And then me and G Clark, we had our battles of the music. We got to get back to doing that. We had our battles of collaboration songs and just different little things that we was doing. And just to be picked up 38 different countries. And then what happened was the station had, I think they had some technical issue because we was doing a third party stream. Their system went down. So once the system went down, we lost a lot of listeners, and the company deactivated the account because you have to have a 24-hour live sound. And so I had to start over again. So we had to start over. A lot of times when things happen, never get discouraged. And I talk about this in the book. Never get discouraged. Just reinvent yourself. You know how to do it again. Just like you have a car, right? You stop driving the car for a while, for a year or two, and you start back driving. You done it before, so it's nothing new. Success is controlled failure. You know, and you just keep doing it. If you fail, that's okay. Remember, note it. Keep going. Don't stop. you know. But the book is about perseverance and being consistent. That's what the whole chapter of the book is about.
I love it. Now, Grady, tell us more about the major challenge you had to overcome in your life, such as domestic violence.
Wow. The I guess it was a challenge, but it wasn't really a challenge because I always been. My mom always taught me to control my feelings and my thought process whenever I catch myself feeling bad about a situation. Like at the time I lost my vision due to a domestic violence incident, I felt bad. I couldn't drive. So what I did, I isolated myself at first. I didn't seek counseling, so I kind of self counseled. It does, if that makes sense. Um, my biggest thing was driving because I was doing security at the time, and it requires me to drive to these different posts, and I would have to drive around and do whatever. And I had to have cataract surgery to replace the lens on my eye, and then the altercation in the process of healing detached the retina in my eye. So that was my dominant eye, and so I had to adjust to that, and it took like 6 months to a year for me to be comfortable with myself, because my self-esteem was down. I couldn't I couldn't drive. I felt comfortable talking with people, because when you're facing people, you don't have no vision on this left side, so you have to kind of turn your head. You have to adjust your whole body where how you look at people, how you communicate with people, and it was it was tough because people would tease me about my vision, my eyes, and stuff like that. So now I just take it and make jokes of myself, and I just kind of reprogram my thinking. Like, hey, you have the issue, I don't have the issue. I'm comfortable with myself. So I just changed my thought process and how I view people, how I receive things from people. And I just overcome it, and a lot of things I just blocked out, and I just moved on. It happened. I was in a domestic a violent situation. Um, I always say I brought it on myself because everything's a cause and effect. But I accept the responsibility and I move on, you know, and I don't look back. And the thing is, if you look back, you'll go back. So I try not to focus on that, and I set attainable goals, short term goals, and I focus on going after them. And I have no time to like focus on the hurt or the pain. What happened.
That's right. You're truly a warrior, Grady. I'll tell you that much. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for sharing your story on our global virtual panel of domestic violence survivors, as well as the sexual assault survivors
Yeah.
panel. Now, for the
Yes.
audience that's listening, what's your best piece of advice for overcoming sexual assault that you would give them today?
As a minor, as a youth, um, go to adult and tell them. A lot of times they may not believe you, but you have to tell them and get that out your system and free yourself, and try not to harbor that hurt or pain, because if you realize that person has moved on, they're not some may not feel guilty, but don't harbor that pain because it can hurt your heart. It just can affect your body so many different ways. Just holding on to hurt people, and it causes you to be paranoid. So the thing is, just be cautious, be wise, recognize the situation and not allow yourself to be in that situation. Just be aware. Um, well, not say, okay, I don't want to, I want you to be cautious of what's going on. Be aware of certain situations, but don't try to predict. Okay, predict a trigger. Oh, this person said this. Oh, this may lead to this. Don't do that. Just focus on yourself. Focus on the positive thing. Try not to look for the negative first. Be aware of the negative thing, but just focus on the positive, and that will help you get through. And if you can find a good counselor to help you the vent, because venting, getting talking, because being on your panel, it took me back to that place just by talking about it, and it kind of disturbed my spirit a little bit. But I had to think, I made it through. So I made it through, and it doesn't hurt anymore. But I hope this story can share somebody from hurt. Just work on, talk about it, getting it out your system. And I'm gonna use an analogy. I'm trying not to be funny, but I can't help it. It's in me. look at this. Any assault, anything that has hurt or happened to you, just look at like you're holding on to it. Just consider it's like bad gas, okay? And it happened what 20 years ago. So let's say you haven't passed gas in 20 years. You just holding this in. No, better out the end. Just let it out. Go to the gym, work out, lift weights, do some boxing or something. Just let it out. Don't hold that stuff in you because you're hurting yourself. That's
Great
right.
analogy, Grady. Very funny. Oh my goodness. Now, was there a time in your life journey where you experienced an aha moment, Grady?
Oh, I have aha moments every day. I have them every day. Um, I think my last aha moment was Friday, and it was a confirmation with a meeting I was in. I was meeting with a guy about the radio thing, and prior to that, my mentor, Victor Chapman, said, "Man, you got to change your name to your station. You're great, baby. You're a local. You're a global. You have a global station, but you have a local name." And he said this like what 2 years ago. So I kind of stuck with it then, and that confirmation in that meeting, the guy like, "Man, you have a great show. We saw your show and everything. We want to do syndication. We want to have your show on my station. I want to offer you a morning show, but you have to change your name." And that was that aha moment. Okay, this confirmation. Aha. So okay, I changed my name and everything. So now we're at the brink of something new. So I want to also say this: people, don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to take a chance and to invest in yourself. Sometimes it calls for you to change. And ladies, I know, sure, ladies do this too. Ladies, sometimes you'll cut your hair for a new hairstyle. You'll change your look for a new outfit. So if you're not afraid to change your look, don't be afraid to change your methods, your business plans. Because sometimes you, it calls a redirection. And I always tell people this, and I know some people that I say this, they may not understand it. Everybody asks, how do you do all these things? I just float on the lazy river of life. Wherever the river carries me, that's where I go. I don't try to tread or do anything. I just go with the flow. And sometimes we have to go with the flow. As long as you know and you feel in your spirit that this is the right thing, just go with it. Process it and go with it. Don't fight it. Because sometimes you might have something that you have planned and you get doors closed. Don't look at as the doors closed as a no. No, it's a redirection. Just look at it as a redirection. Figure it out what you got to do. Do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do. The thing is study, research, prepare, and plan. I can't say how Killer Mike said you got to strategize, mobilize, or something like that.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. You have to just be about your business. You have to study. And I got to say this too. And it's another thing, aha moment that I had as a kid, growing up in the projects. I hung out with older guys, and one day the older guys were sitting there talking, and they was talking about Michael Jordan. It was like '88. Oh, Michael Jordan's the highest paid player. And I just read the ESPN article in the library at school. So I told the guy, no, Michael Jordan is not the highest paid basketball player. So the guy, like, he argued me down yesterday. I said, well, bet. He was 27. I was like 15. So he was like, bet. I said, okay. Well, I said, I bet you $50. So he was like, bet, okay, $50. I said, Friday, you come here and I have my $50 and you have my money. I will bring something to show you that Michael Jordan have the proof. So I went to school that next day, Friday morning, went to the library and print out a copy of that paid that list, and it showed Hot Rod John Williams, the highest paid basketball player in the NBA at that time. So when he came back that Friday, I pulled out that and I said, "Show your money." So he showed me his money, put the money down. I pulled out that article and showed it to him, and I took the money. I said, "What? I can make money off of knowledge." So that was an aha moment. That like I can get paid for reading and knowing stuff. So, and that's why I always research and study stuff. Like when people always come to me with stuff, great. How do I collect my royalties from songs, or how I do this? I don't research it, and I can tell them. But yeah, but
Very
knowledge.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that with us, Grady. Now tell us more about what gives you happiness in your life.
Being of service to other people, making people laugh. When people have problems, to get them to talk to them to get them out of their state. Because I worked at and I like this is another aha moment. I worked at a crisis center here in Atlanta back in 2001 to 2003, and a lot of people come in with depression and stuff like that. And they had a ping pong table, and I worked as a security guard, and I loved that place because they let me play ping pong with the patients and stuff. And I would do impersonations. And Muhammad Ali was one of the greatest of all time. And I saw how the people that was quiet in the depression, and they all was laughing. They was laughing, and they was all cheerful, all just because I was making them laugh because I was acting like Muhammad Ali while playing the game. I was doing two personations at the same time. I was Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali. And but laughter was that driving force that I knew I can make an impact with people and change people's lives and help them, with that whatever. Because laughter, it heals all things. Laughter and love go hand to hand because people love to laugh. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked of the question. What was the question again?
Your happiness. But I love what you mentioned there, how laughter truly matters. It's very
Hmm.
important to laugh.
It is, and that's why I based the station and everything around laughter. Laughter. My first slogan was what was that? RTKZ Radio, DJ Grady, what was it? Crazy Grady Radio, where you be enlightened, informed, and thoroughly entertained. And that's what it's about. I entertain them I give them information with a dose of laughter. And our new slogan, well, I got to change our slogan again. It's always, and also too, don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. You know, we have, what was that? I forgot. We said laughter and love with great conversation. That was for the Grady Baby platform. And because when people laugh, they retains more, and something that, just I want to say something that resonate with them, they retain it. So I try to keep it KISS, keep it simple, stupid. I try that method with anything that I do,
I
that we
love
do.
it. I love it. Very powerful. Now, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
My best advice is don't worry about nothing. Um, with your dreams and goals and prayers, be like a child. Like, just go and walk with faith. Like, as a child, you growing up, hey mom, can I have this candy? You had faith that you was going to get that candy from your parents, that are going to provide for you. So you got to have that faith that the creator, whoever you serve, will provide for you. And don't be afraid to dream and write your visions down. And I don't want to preach to them, but I got
Preach,
to
Grady. Preach. Now,
write the Okay, the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, said, write your vision down and make it plain. It shall not tarry, it shall surely come. And I'm going to paraphrase this. I'm gonna
go right
paraphrase this last part here. The Bible said he will run somebody to read it. That means anybody can read it and speak it to life, because life and death in the power of the tongue. So if you surround yourself with people, and especially children, and this is what happened even before I even started getting equipment for the DJ and the podcast. What I did was, when I was dating my wife, actually, I think we was married. We was married at the time. So I was living in Atlanta. She was living in Brunswick because she was stationed at Fort Stewart. So we had two residents. So on weekends, either she'll drive up or I'll catch the Greyhound down, down to visit her. So while I'm doing the Greyhound driving, going down there, I had a notepad and I was write down everything, like, oh, I need a microphone, need cables, this and this. So I have a book. So I'm writing what I needed down and the price right next to it. And I had it on the coffee table, and my niece Sierra, she read it. And she when she read it, it didn't click till like a year later. I got everything that was on that list. You know, don't be afraid to write your stuff down. Just write it down. I promise you, if you write it down and you read it out loud every day, you speak in life to that what you desire. And it works every day. Every day, even with the radio station, I'm like, man, I want to go stay. I want to go send. I want to be syndicated. I want a radio show. Got it. Boom. Oh, I want a hoodie. I want this. Got it. And I mean, you have not because you ask not. So don't be afraid to ask. And I'm still learning that, because I have partners and stuff, and I got to learn to ask them for help because I'm so used to doing solo. So y'all charge it to my head and not my heart, because I'm so used to, um, doing things myself. So I now have to learn to rely on my team and rely on my partners. So a lot of times, people, don't be afraid to accept responsibility. If you're wrong, I'm wrong. If you're wrong, admit you're wrong and move on. And a lot of times I'm wrong and I do things without thinking. And I'm human. I'm not perfect, but we can practice at being perfect. Like the police, like the doctor practice medicine, lawyers practice law. I practice life and living and loving people. That's what I practice. So I want you to do the same thing.
Amen. It's all about progression, not perfection. I love
Yes.
it. Now, Grady, you mentioned God. Tell us more about how important your relationship with God is to you.
Well, in Atlanta, Georgia, well, in the South, we church was religious. I grew up. My grandfather was a minister, Reverend Pastor Edward Hall. My uncles were minister. My stepdad ended up becoming a minister. So I spent a lot of time in church. So I know God first name. I think I know his nickname. I think I heard it before, but. We spent, we was in Sunday school, Bible school, when teachers Bible study, teachers meeting, so choir rehearsal. We I know God. I sung in 3 recording choirs. I sung matter of fact, at one time, I sung in 3 choirs at 3 different churches in 1 year. So, and actually, as an adult, I was a Sunday school teacher. Kind of like I was pushed into the role because I didn't have a Sunday school teacher, but it actually helped me to be more knowledgeable of the word. Man, God, we have a good connect, a great communication thing. It's kind of weird. I was telling somebody, not on a radio show, I was just talking to somebody personally how I talk to God. I said, you have to talk to God like a friend, and with my vision that my doctors always say, you shouldn't be driving, but I have no problem. I can see, because I can see better with my one eye driving than people have two. You know what I mean? Because it's like you have a telescope. That's why they have one lens on the telescope. You never seen a telescope with 2 lenses, unless they have them stacked on top of each other. But I always say this prayer with God. this is this is my driving prayer. And the thing about it, I don't even say this prayer no more, but I said it so much back when I first lost my vision. I was trying to drive again. I would say, God, I haven't said it in so long. I said, Lord, I said, watch over me as I drive up and down this highway. Protect me and keep me from causing hurt, harm, or dangers to other people's and to others, in Jesus' name. But
Amen.
yeah, that was my prayer, to prevent me from causing accidents, due to my disabilities. Lord, I know you got me, because a lot of times God look out the fools and babies, and sometimes I'm both. So
Very powerful. Grady, thank you so much for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast.
thank, thank you for having on. This is one of the easiest interviews I had. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, where can the audience find you?
You can find me definitely. I'm on DJ Grady Baby Radio on Facebook, Grady Taylor on Facebook. Was at djgradybaby.com. That's the website. And the Taylor Surgeons Group. You guys can find me on there. And can I give my email address?
Of course. Go ahead.
Oh, I have so many. DJ Grady Baby Radio at gmail.com, or Crazy Grady Radio at gmail.com. Those are 2 they can catch me on.
I love
Yes.
it. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Grady at taylorinsurgentsgroup.com. And
Yes.
Grady, thank you again so much for
Thank
being
you.
a guest on Walk With Me podcast. You have a blessed
Thank
day.
you. I don't know how to be here. Thank you so much.